masculine and divine feminine, mainly because of the fact that not a lot of people understand the difference. And I think what happens is that, not that they don't understand the difference, they understand the difference between divine masculine and divine feminine. And I talk a lot about that, right? Goddess wisdom. I'm evoking the divine feminine, the conversation about the divine feminine, mainly because we've forgotten it. We have forgotten it. But by no means does that discredit the divine masculine. I will say, excuse me, that we're not seeing a lot of the divine masculine. The idea of a patriarchal society, which most of us live in, is out of balance already of the divine masculine. A matriarchal society is out of balance of the divine masculine. It's out of balance of the divine feminine. And that's my point. It takes two to tango. And I don't know if there's ever been a point in history, or at least we haven't been shown it. I will correct that. There's one time in the ancient Egyptians, and the Greek gods in their stories, not necessarily how they governed in Greece, but in their stories of it, with the gods and the goddesses kind of holding court on their own stuff in unison, in sort of a council, and looking at things in the way the pharaohs, had queens come up like Cleopatra, things like that. Although she came in and grabbed it. I mean, she had to she had to grab the bull by the horns. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And that's why I talk a lot about divine feminine, because I feel like we're all at that place that Cleopatra was, where we're like, okay, I have power. I was kicked off my throne by this 10-year-old who thinks he's got power over me just because he's a boy. Just because he's evoking his masculinity and his superiority because of him being in the male form of that masculinity. But I, as a woman, a strong woman, has a female form, but I also have a masculinity, and that's my divine masculine. So that's a lot of what I try to evoke, is the fact that we're at a place like that where the divine feminine, owning your feminine, in the way that it's at the divine level, in the way that it understands its place, its power, its energy form, allows us to tap into our own divine masculine, which is in us. See, we have been mimicking the masculinity as women. We want it all, we want what they have and all that stuff. What we did is we went into their skin. We literally went into their skin. We literally decided our form of beauty was going to be looking like them, right? So we want hard edges, we want cut abs, we want big bulky muscles, we want to do these big workouts with big weights. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that became what's strong looking. That's become the only image of strength in a feminine form, because you have, and honestly, it's not really a feminine form anymore, is it? Because you lose your boobs, you lose your curves. If you're an athlete, you might lose your period. If you're not being very conscious in making sure you're honoring your cycles, your femininity, the way that your balance, I mean, we all have testosterone and estrogen in balance, men and women, our balance of it, right? If you're loading up on testosterone, you're playing with your balance. And that's going to get some criticism from some people. I hear you. That's okay. I just have found in working with women, in being a woman, that they are healthiest. They are healthiest or the most healthy, when they own their own wholeness, when they reclaim, if they've lost it, their feminine divine, and then they can see their masculinity as a tool their femininity is a tool, and neither one is vice, because that's what ends up happening. We go and we make it a vice. And as I was saying today over my Facebook Live over on Dr. Lisa, vices are not our medicine. Vices are our crutches. But we become dependent on them sometimes, and we start believing the hype that we are less than without them. That we can't handle, that bridge of letting go of them. So when I speak of divine feminine, I am calling to that space within you, ladies, that knows it's a-okay to wear a skirt if you want to. It's a-okay to wear pants if you want to. It's a-okay to go work out with heavy weights if you want to. But it's a-okay to do that one day, and then the next day, decide to wear a pink bow in your hair, some lipsticks, and say you're going to the spa. That's all I'm saying. And we need to make sure that we show that to our sons and our colleagues out there who are the divine masculine emerging. The ones who are the softer forms of masculinity, because they've blended and they understand the divine feminine within themselves. So that's all I'm saying. I'm asking you to have a softer form of masculinity as a feminine divine, and for you to have a softer form of masculinity as a masculine divine. That's it. And when we get that, we're going to be very, very unified here on this earth. We're going to be our own medicine across industries. You see, we can't just have health providers providing fix-it treatments in their clinic. Guys, that's a Band-Aid. You need to go out and then you go home to your relationships. You go to your workplace. You go to that stressor. You go to that heaven. You create, that mindset when you get in your car and someone cuts you off. It is a combination here. You pay your taxes whether they're fair or not. You deal with the ambiguous comments coming from your government. All of that. So when I talk of medicine woman rising, I'm talking about the medicine women who get what I just said about the masculine and the feminine, divine, and the unification of that, the yoga, the tantra of that. They get that. They get the concept. They might not totally understand that. That's why they follow me. That's why they work with me. But they kind of don't see it as foreign and something that can't be. And I'm calling to them to rise in their families. Calling the medicine women, mainly because you are the heart of family. You are the ones that give birth to that family. You are the reason many men get up in the morning to go to work. You are the ones that are speaking in their ears if they are holding more power than you. You are the ones suffering from the ones that are mistaken in their power. But by no means am I discrediting the conscious male. I'm actually calling you as well, and you're hearing me through my conversation in Divine Feminine because it's speaking to that aspect of you. So that's all I have to say for today. Tell me what you think about that, what you get in that concept. It's really a healing concept. If you can heal yourself, when we talk about holistic and wholeness, this is really what we're talking about, guys. This is what we're talking about. It's wholeness within you, and then sharing that with whatever you do. Partnerships in your home, partnerships out in corporate world, rule making, everything. That's the key. Thanks so much for being here. Let me know what you think. Take care. Bye.